Most MPC users make arranging beats harder than it has to be. Even myself, until I started using clips, this feature makes it 10 times easier to finish beats. In this video, I'm gonna be showing you how I will use clips and how it completely changed my workflow. So let's just get into it. To get to clips, all you have to do is just hit menu, and you can find it here. And you can just also drag and drop to the sidebar like how I have it, just for easier access so you're not just going back to the menu and main screen. And I could just create a clip just by going right here. Under my track, I could create my first clip. So I could hit any box. And right where it says arrangement, you can just click over here and then just go to the next one. And this will be your first clip. Now from here, you can start recording or create a clip. And then to the left, you can fix the fixed length. If you have it off, that means you can play freely without it looping back. And then you can also just set your default length bars. But I just create the clip and then I could just choose from here if I want to have my loop off or loop on. And then I could change my length from here if I want more bars. So I know this drum loop is 4 bars and we could just record that in. And then if we go to our clips, we can actually play it from here as well. If you look at the clips above, these are your arranger clips. Let's say you have MIDI in your arranger, then you could play those from up here. But since we're coming up with this beat in clips, I would just like to hide this, and you can hide it by going to this corner settings tool and turn off show arrangement and clip matrix. And that way you just save up more space. And I'm gonna show you why this becomes more useful later on in the video. So we can click right here to create a clip, and we could just record a melody on top. So once you laid out a melody pattern, you can actually edit it from here by holding it down and go to edit events, which just bring you the grid view. But for me, if I'm in clips, I just double tap main, get there a lot faster, and then you can see what you played and you can edit your notes the same way. Now you do have the edit clip feature. The only time I really use this is if I did play with fixed length off and there was certain sections that I like more than others. So I can go back over here, change my starting point, and that's where the clip will start. Or I can use my loop section, which is 4 bars, and just bring that to a different point of where I was playing. Those are really the only options I use from here. Then we could just get back on the main screen, and you can see that it's been named Piano 1. I could just go to the right of it and create another clip under it. Now, it's one thing to think about arrangement in the sense of how many bars in a hook or in a verse, but what I learned from playing the piano is that you could be playing chords in a basic way, just like how I had it in the beginning. And then you could play it another way where you add in the melody. And then you just keep going with all these different type of patterns, but it's still like the same thing. So it's really using that one sound and bringing the most out of it and doing the same with your other sounds as well. And I'm also thinking about it in a way from going from basic to a bit more complex along the way. So then I have these different variations that can switch off very nicely. I could hit this third row and come up with something with a bit more movement. Now real quick, I just want to say Happy New Year's, and that going into 2026, I want you to learn faster. That's why I made MPC In A, which is my MPC course. And this is just going to cut your learning curve in half, because while everybody else is trying to figure out how to do things on their own, they just take a long time, and there's just so many other skills that you need in your music production tool that you don't want to spend so much time learning all the functions on the MPC or binge watching tutorials that are out of context. You got to be more mindful about your time, and speed is the only thing that's stopping you in being advanced in a shorter time period. You don't need 10,000 hours. You don't even need like 6 months to really learn the MPC. You just need a step-by-step structure guide, and that's what I give you in that course, and you can check it out, link in the description. Now let's get back into the video. And And another reason why I like clips is because even from here, let's say I have this pad track right here. I want to just actually layer what I have for the first melody, which was just playing chords. And I just want that same layer. I could just hold it down, press copy, and then press paste. If I just want to experiment how my drum loop would sound over this melody or that, I could just play it just like that. And then I can hit the outer box so it can stop. And you see how this kind of cuts off abruptly? You can actually change that by going to the settings tool. And instead of doing quantization on 1 bar, you could do it on something a bit longer, like 4 bars or 8 bars. Since my loop is mainly 4 bars, then it could just cut off at the right time. If I wanted to play it with the first melody and then switch to the third, it will play the whole thing out. And that's gonna make the transition a lot smoother when we start to record into our arranger. I wanna just come up with another variation, so I just create one right there, and I'll play it with this melody. And let's say you don't wanna play with the drums. You could just hold down Shift, press Stop All, and then you can see it all goes to color, and then we could just hit this, and we can hit right here. So then it's just only gonna play that, or we could have just went to the second row like this. And it will play everything in the second row. So for this one, I'm gonna just do it a bit different. Like I said, when I think about variations, I just think about switching up the pattern, or voicing, you could say. And then I could just come up here to my bass and record my first clip, hold it down, and press create. And then I can also play my drums with it. So then I can record in my bass. Now that we got a few sounds, we can actually start adding these clips into the arranger to then turn it into a song. And the easiest way to do that is actually just to go right here and switch to clip launch. Now you will see all your clips are on the pads. That's why I said from before that it's good that we took off the arranger ones, because that would have took up space. And if you're a person that uses a lot of different clips, that definitely saves you room. And while you're in clip launch, you can actually use your pad banks. So I could go down with B, back up with A, and then I could use pad bank D to go to the right, and then C to come back to the left. Now, if you have like a lot of different tracks, so let's say you added so many tracks, you can actually navigate it even faster by going to menu, going to the second page, and finding where your navigate option is. And then now you can move this box anywhere. So if you have more to the right, then it will show that. And once you go back to clips, you will see it lands in that spot, and then we can just move back up. Now, going back to that workflow that you do with the sequence, where you just copy the sequence over and just make certain parts, you can even do that in the clips by doing it in rows. That way, when you go to record your clips in the arranger, you just have to hit each row. So you can build out one row to be the intro, one row to be the hook, and your verse, and so on. But for now, since I just came up with different ideas, then I'm just going to piece them together just by hitting the pads that I want. We're just going to hold down record, and we're going to do record to arrangement, and we could have also done it from here as well. Record to arrangement. I want to hold down Shift and hit Stop All, so it stops all the clips, and then I could just press the one that I want to start off with. I just want to start off basic, so I'm going to use pad 14. But before you even try to record it into the arranger, you just want to make sure you go to your arranger and set your loop off, because if you don't, then it's going to loop only for those 4 bars, and then it's just going to be chaos. So don't do that. Make sure you turn loop off and check your arranger to see if anything is already in there, and then you're ready to go. Hold down record and hit to arrangement, and let's just press play start. Since this is 4 bars, I'm gonna go right into a hook. Just a quick outro. Then you press stop, and then you can go to main, go to your arranger. Now, one thing to keep in mind, because if you just press play, you can confuse yourself. Remember that once you press play start, clips is still playing in the background. You want to do all tracks to arrange. So once that is off, then it's only going to play the tracks that are in the arranger. And then from here, you can then continue your arranger workflow. Now, if you're new to the arranger or you're still confused about how to even use the arranger, I got this video over here and you can watch how to use the arranger. Now that you have a better understanding of clips, you can use both of those in conjunction to have an efficient workflow for finishing beats.